Launching a startup is an exhilarating journey filled with innovation, ambition, and the pursuit of turning groundbreaking ideas into thriving businesses. Yet, amid the whirlwind of entrepreneurial excitement, many startups often underestimate the critical role that legal considerations play in their success. In reality, the early stages of a startup are precisely when robust legal groundwork is most essential. The importance of legal considerations for startups. Legal considerations aren't merely about compliance. They are the foundation upon which a sustainable and prosperous business is built. Legal matters touch every aspect of a startup's operations, from its initial structure and registration to its daily transactions, intellectual property protection, employee relations, and long-term growth strategies. Neglecting these legal aspects can lead to costly mistakes, disputes, and even the premature demise of an otherwise promising venture. This is why savvy entrepreneurs understand that integrating legal considerations from the outset is not just a safeguard, it's a strategic advantage. The overview of the Indian legal system's relevance. Understanding and navigating the Indian legal landscape is particularly crucial for startups operating within the country. India's legal framework is diverse, complex, and constantly evolving. It encompasses various laws and regulations, each designed to address specific aspects of business and commerce. From company registration to taxation, intellectual property protection to employment laws, and data privacy to dispute resolution, startups must operate within the bounds of Indian law. Moreover, staying informed about legal developments is essential as the Indian legal system adapts to the changing dynamics of the business world. The purpose of the Startup Legal Checklist. The purpose of the Startup Legal Checklist is to serve as a comprehensive guide for aspiring and early-stage entrepreneurs in India. It provides a structured approach to addressing critical legal considerations at every stage of your startup's journey. Whether you're in the ideation phase, preparing for launch, or scaling your operations, this checklist will help you identify, understand, and act upon the legal aspects that matter most to your startup's success. By following this checklist, you can proactively manage legal risks, protect your intellectual property, ensure compliance with regulations, and establish a solid foundation for growth. It's not just about avoiding legal pitfalls. It's about empowering your startup to thrive in a dynamic and competitive business environment. Starting a business in India involves a series of pivotal decisions, and one of the earliest considerations is determining the right legal structure for your startup. This choice will influence various aspects of your operations, including taxation, compliance, liability, and growth potential. Let's delve into the critical aspects of business structure and registration that every startup founder should address. Choosing the right legal structure. Selecting the appropriate legal structure is akin to laying the cornerstone of your startup's legal foundation. Here are some common options for business structures in India. 1. Limited Liability Partnership, LLP. LLPs offer a flexible and tax-efficient structure while limiting the personal liability of partners. This is a popular choice for startups in various sectors. 2. Private Limited Company, Private Limited. Private limited companies are known for their separate legal identity, limited liability, and ease of raising capital. They are a preferred choice for startups seeking external funding. 3. One-person company, OPC. OPCs are ideal for solo entrepreneurs who want the advantages of a private limited company with the simplicity of a sole proprietorship. 4. Partnership firm. While less common for startups, partnerships can be suitable for businesses with multiple co-founders who want shared ownership. 5. Sole proprietorship. This is the simplest form of business ownership, often chosen by individual entrepreneurs. However, it offers no separation between personal and business liabilities. Choosing the right structure should align with your business goals, ownership structure, and long-term vision. It's advisable to seek legal counsel to make an informed decision. B. Registering your business with the appropriate authorities. Once you've decided on your startup's legal structure, the next crucial step is formal registration. Registering your business with the appropriate government authorities is mandatory and establishes your startup as a legal entity. This process includes 1. Obtaining a Director Identification Number, DIN. If you plan to operate a private limited company or an LLP, you and your co-founders will need DINs. 2. Registering your company. Depending on the chosen structure, you'll need to register your business with the Registrar of Companies, ROC, for private limited companies, OPC and LLPs. Sole proprietorships in India do not require formal registration. For fee details, refer here. 3. GST registration. If your projected turnover exceeds the prescribed threshold, you must register for Goods and Services Tax, GST. For most states in India, the threshold limit for mandatory GST registration is an annual turnover of 40 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees for special category states. Special category states include the northeastern states, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand, where the threshold is 20 lakh rupees. 4. PAN and TAN. Apply for a permanent account number, PAN, and tax deduction and collection account number, TAN, for your startup. These are essential for tax compliance. C. Obtaining necessary licenses and permits. Startups often require specific licenses and permits to operate legally. The types of licenses can vary significantly depending on your industry and location. Common licenses and permits include 1. Business operating license. This is a basic license required to start and operate a business legally. 2. Shop and establishment license. If you have a physical office or store, this license is mandatory and regulates working hours, employee conditions, and more. 3. Food license, FSSAI. Necessary for businesses involved in food production and distribution. 4. Environmental clearance. Certain industries, particularly those with environmental impact, need clearance from environmental authorities. 5. Import-export license. If your startup deals with international trade, you may need this license. 6. Health and safety permits. Businesses dealing with hazardous materials or processes require safety permits. It's vital to conduct thorough research and consult with industry-specific experts or legal professionals to ensure you obtain all the necessary licenses and permits for your startup. Failing to do so can lead to legal complications down the road. In the next section, we will explore the critical aspects of safeguarding your startup's intellectual property, IP, through effective legal strategies. Intellectual property, IP, is the lifeblood of many startups. Your unique ideas, innovations, and branding are invaluable assets that require vigilant protection. Neglecting IP considerations can leave your startup vulnerable to intellectual property theft or disputes. In this section, we'll explore the critical aspects of safeguarding your startup's intellectual property. A. Understanding the importance of intellectual property, IP. Intellectual property encompasses a broad spectrum of intangible assets, including trademarks, copyrights, patents, trade secrets, and more. For startups, IP protection is of paramount importance for several reasons. 1. Protection of innovations. Patents safeguard your unique inventions, ensuring that others cannot replicate or profit from your innovations without permission. 2. Brand identity. Trademarks protect your brand name, logo, and distinctive features, establishing a unique identity in the market and preventing brand confusion. 3. Creative works. Copyrights safeguard creative works such as software, literary content, music, and art, preventing unauthorized use or reproduction. 4. Competitive advantage. IP protection can provide a competitive edge by granting you exclusive rights, allowing you to capitalize on your creations. 5. Asset valuation. IP assets can enhance your startup's overall valuation, attracting investors and potential buyers. B. Registering trademarks, copyrights, and patents. The Indian legal system offers mechanisms for registering and protecting different types of intellectual property. 1. Trademarks. Register your brand's name, logo, and other distinctive elements as trademarks with the Trademark Registry. This ensures exclusive rights to use these elements in connection with your products or services. 2. Copyrights. Registering your creative works with the Copyright Office provides legal protection against unauthorized reproduction, distribution, and adaptation. 3. Patents. If your startup involves unique inventions or processes, consider applying for patents through the Indian Patent Office. This grants you exclusive rights to the invention for a specified period. See drafting confidentiality and non-compete agreements. Confidentiality and non-compete agreements are essential tools to protect your startup's sensitive information and prevent key employees or partners from competing against you. Here's why they matter. 1. Protecting trade secrets. These agreements safeguard your confidential business information, trade secrets, and proprietary data. They prevent employees or associates from disclosing or using this information to your detriment. 2. Preventing competing ventures. Non-compete clauses can restrict employees, contractors, or partners from engaging in similar business activities that could directly compete with your startup during or after their association with your company. 3. Preserving client and customer relationships. Such agreements can also include clauses that prevent employees from soliciting your clients or customers if they leave your startup. Drafting these agreements requires careful consideration of your startup's unique circumstances, industry norms, and legal requirements. Consultation with legal experts is highly recommended to ensure the enforceability of these agreements. In the subsequent section, we will explore the financial and tax considerations that every startup founder should be aware of to maintain legal compliance and financial stability. Contracts and agreements are the building blocks of your startup's legal framework. These legally binding documents establish the rights, responsibilities, and expectations of all parties involved. In this section, we'll delve into the critical role of contracts and agreements in ensuring the smooth operation of your startup. Creating legally binding contracts for co-founders, employees, and suppliers. 1. Co-founder agreements. Startups often begin with a group of passionate co-founders. A well-drafted co-founder agreement outlines each co-founder roles, equity ownership, decision-making processes, and exit strategies. It also addresses potential disputes and how they should be resolved. 2. Employment contracts. Employment agreements for your team members, including employees and contractors, are crucial. These contracts define job roles, compensation, working hours, confidentiality, non-compete clauses, and termination procedures. They protect both your startup and your employees. 3. Supplier agreements. If your startup relies on suppliers or vendors for goods or services, clear supplier agreements are essential. These agreements should outline the scope of work, payment terms, quality standards, and dispute resolution procedures. A well-drafted supplier agreement ensures a smooth supply chain and minimizes legal risks. The vendor contracts and service agreements. 1. Vendor contracts. When your startup purchases goods or services from vendors, vendor contracts specify terms and conditions. These contracts may cover pricing, delivery schedules, quality standards, warranties, and liability provisions. Negotiating favorable vendor contracts can save your startup both time and money. 2. Service agreements. If your startup offers services to clients or customers, service agreements define the scope of services, fees, timelines, and service level expectations. Clear service agreements reduce the risk of disputes and help manage client relationships effectively. See lease agreements for office space. Leasing office space is a significant commitment for startups. Lease agreements for office space are legally binding contracts that stipulate the terms of your tenancy. Key considerations in lease agreements include rent, lease duration, maintenance responsibilities, security deposits, and exit clauses. Negotiating favorable lease terms and understanding your obligations as a tenant is crucial to avoid potential disputes with landlords and ensure your startup's smooth operation. In the following section, we'll explore the critical aspects of employment laws and compliance that startups need to consider. Startup founders must navigate a complex web of employment laws and regulations to ensure their business operates within legal boundaries and provides a safe, equitable, and productive work environment. Complying with labor laws, including minimum wage and employee benefits. 1. Minimum wage compliance. As a startup employer, it's essential to understand and adhere to minimum wage laws applicable in your region. Ensure that you pay your employees at or above the mandated minimum wage to avoid legal issues. 2. Employee benefits. Compliance with statutory employee benefits, such as provident fund contributions, gratuity, and health insurance, is crucial. Familiarize yourself with the relevant laws and ensure your startup meets its obligations towards employee benefits. B. Employee contracts, non-disclosure agreements, and non-compete clauses. 1. Employee contracts. Every employee should have a clear employment contract that outlines their roles, responsibilities, compensation, working hours, and terms of employment. These contracts protect both your startup and your employees by providing a legal framework for the employment relationship. 2. Non-disclosure agreements, NDAs. NDAs are essential when sharing sensitive information with employees, contractors, or partners. They prevent the unauthorized disclosure of confidential business information, protecting your startup's intellectual property and trade secrets. 3. Non-compete clauses. Non-compete clauses in employment contracts restrict employees from working for competitors or starting competing businesses for a specified period after leaving your startup. They safeguard your startup's interests and prevent unfair competition. C. Ensuring workplace safety and harassment policies. 1. Workplace safety. Complying with workplace safety regulations is paramount. Ensure that your startup provides a safe and healthy working environment for employees, reducing the risk of accidents and injuries. 2. Anti-harassment policies. Implement anti-harassment policies to prevent and address workplace harassment, discrimination, and bullying. These policies foster a respectful and inclusive workplace culture. By diligently adhering to employment laws, drafting clear employee contracts and agreements, and prioritizing workplace safety and inclusivity, your startup can mitigate legal risks and create a positive working environment. In the next section, we will delve into the critical aspects of taxation and compliance for startups. Startups often grapple with complex tax regulations and compliance requirements, making it crucial to have a firm grasp of their tax obligations. A. Understanding tax obligations for startups. 1. Income tax. As a startup founder, you must understand your personal and business income tax obligations. Familiarize yourself with the tax rates and deductions applicable to your startup's revenue and your personal income as an entrepreneur. For LLPs, tax slabs, refer here. 2. Corporate tax. Depending on your business structure, your startup may be subject to corporate income tax. Comprehend the corporate tax regulations and reporting requirements applicable to your entity. For domestic company tax slabs, refer here. B. Registering for GST and other tax-related compliance. 1. Goods and services tax, GST. Determine whether your startup needs to register for GST, which is mandatory for businesses with a certain level of turnover. Understand the GST rates, filing procedures, and compliance deadlines. We have already discussed this in detail previously. Refer Section 2. 2. Tax deductions and benefits. Explore tax deductions, incentives, and benefits available to startups. Many governments offer tax incentives to encourage entrepreneurship and innovation. Research these opportunities to reduce your tax liability legally. C. Keeping accurate financial records. 1. Bookkeeping. Maintain accurate financial records, including income statements, balance sheets, and cash flow statements. Effective bookkeeping is essential for tax reporting and business decision-making. 2. Receipts and invoices. Organize receipts and invoices meticulously. Digitize and categorize your financial documents to streamline tax preparation and audits. 3. Tax filing deadlines. Be aware of tax filing deadlines, including quarterly estimated tax payments and annual tax returns. Missing deadlines can result in penalties and interest charges. By comprehending your tax obligations, registering for applicable taxes, and maintaining impeccable financial records, your startup can avoid tax-related pitfalls and remain compliant with tax laws. Securing funding is a pivotal milestone for startups, and navigating the legal aspects of fundraising is paramount. In this section, we will explore the critical considerations when it comes to funding and investment for startups. A. Legal aspects of fundraising. 1. Angel investors. Understand the legal implications of raising capital from angel investors. Draft clear and legally binding agreements that outline investment terms, equity ownership, and exit strategies. 2. Venture capital, VC. When seeking VC funding, be prepared to navigate complex legal negotiations. VC firms often require startups to comply with specific terms and conditions, including board representation and exit provisions. B. Term sheets, equity agreements, and investor rights. 1. Term sheets. Term sheets are crucial documents that outline the terms and conditions of an investment. Ensure you comprehend the implications of each term, such as valuation, investor rights, and liquidation preferences. 2. Equity agreements. Create robust equity agreements that clearly define the rights and obligations of all stakeholders, including founders, early investors, and employees with stock options. 3. Investor rights. Understand the rights that investors may hold, such as veto power, information rights, and anti-dilution protection. These rights can significantly impact your startup's governance and decision-making processes. C. Compliance with SEBI regulations. 1. SEBI regulations. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, regulates securities and investments in India. Familiarize yourself with SEBI regulations relevant to fundraising, particularly if you plan to issue shares or convertible securities. 2. Private placements. Private placement refers to the process of raising capital by a company or organization through the sale of securities to a select group of investors rather than making a public offering of those securities. If you are conducting a private placement of securities, adhere to SEBI's guidelines to avoid legal complications. Navigating the legal intricacies of funding and investment is critical to protect your startup's interests and maintain a healthy relationship with investors. Seek legal counsel with expertise in startup financing and securities laws to ensure compliance and safeguard your startup's future. In an increasingly digital world, safeguarding data privacy and security is paramount for startups. This section delves into the critical aspects of data protection and cybersecurity. A. Protecting customer and employee data. 1. Data collection. Understand what data your startup collects from customers and employees. Ensure that data collection is transparent and consent is obtained when required. 2. Data storage. Implement secure data storage practices to protect sensitive information. Consider encryption and access controls to prevent unauthorized access. 3. Data retention. Establish data retention policies that dictate how long you retain customer and employee data. Ensure compliance with legal requirements. B. Complying with data protection laws in India. 1. Personal Data Protection Bill. Stay informed about the evolving data protection landscape in India, particularly the Personal Data Protection Bill. Understand how it may impact your startup's data practices. 2. Consent and transparency. Comply with data protection laws by obtaining informed consent for data collection, informing individuals about data usage, and respecting their privacy choices. See cybersecurity measures and incident response plans. 1. Cybersecurity protocols. Develop robust cybersecurity measures, including firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and regular security audits. 2. Incident response plan. Prepare an incident response plan to address data breaches or cybersecurity incidents promptly. Define roles and responsibilities, communication procedures, and recovery steps. 3. Employee training. Train your team on cybersecurity best practices, emphasizing the importance of data security and the role each individual plays in safeguarding sensitive information. Data privacy and security are not only legal requirements, but also vital elements of building trust with customers and employees. Prioritize data protection to mitigate risks and uphold your startup's reputation. In the final section, we will emphasize the significance of ongoing legal compliance and the role of legal advisors in your startup's journey. Startup journeys are not without challenges, and disputes may arise. This section covers the importance of dispute resolution strategies and legal support for startups. A. Preparing for potential legal disputes. 1. Risk assessment. Conduct a risk assessment to identify potential areas of dispute within your startup. Understand the common triggers for legal conflicts. 2. Documentation. Maintain clear and organized records of all business activities, contracts, agreements, and transactions. Comprehensive documentation can be invaluable in resolving disputes. B. Choosing arbitration or litigation when necessary. 1. Arbitration. Consider arbitration as an alternative to traditional litigation. Understand the benefits of arbitration, including cost-effectiveness, confidentiality, and faster resolution. 2. Litigation. Be prepared for litigation if it becomes necessary. Understand the legal processes involved in taking a dispute to court and the potential outcomes. C. The role of legal counsel and support services. 1. Legal advisors. Seek experienced legal advisors who specialize in startup law. They can provide valuable guidance on dispute resolution, compliance, and legal strategy. 2. Support services. Explore legal support services that can assist with contract management, intellectual property protection, and compliance monitoring. These services can streamline legal operations. Legal support is a crucial asset for startups navigating the complexities of the legal landscape. By preparing for potential disputes and engaging with legal counsel, startups can effectively manage legal challenges and protect their interests. In the concluding section, we will reiterate the importance of the startup legal checklist and offer final thoughts on launching your business on solid legal ground. As you embark on your entrepreneurial journey, the startup legal checklist becomes your guiding light, ensuring that you lay a strong legal foundation for your venture. Let's recap the checklist's significance and offer some parting words of wisdom. A. Recap of the startup legal checklist. 1. Comprehensive guidance. The checklist provides comprehensive guidance on the legal aspects of running a startup, from business structure to dispute resolution. 2. Risk mitigation. By following the checklist, you mitigate legal risks, protect your intellectual property, and ensure compliance with regulatory requirements. B. Encouragement for startups to prioritize legal compliance. 1. Early investment. Invest your time and resources in legal compliance right from the start. It's an investment that pays off in terms of long-term stability and growth. 2. Competitive edge. A legally sound startup is more attractive to investors, partners, and customers. It sets you apart in a competitive business landscape. C. Ensuring a strong legal foundation for long-term success. 1. Long-term vision. Remember that the legal framework you establish now will support your startup's growth and evolution over the years. 2. Adaptability. Stay informed about changes in the legal landscape and adapt your strategies accordingly. The law is not static, and neither should your legal compliance efforts be. In conclusion, your startup's legal journey is as vital as your product or service. Prioritizing legal compliance, intellectual property protection, and dispute resolution strategies ensures a solid legal foundation for long-term success. With the Startup Legal Checklist as your companion, you're equipped to navigate the legal intricacies and build a thriving, legally secure venture. This concludes our exploration of the Startup Legal Checklist. As you embark on your entrepreneurial path, may your legal foundation be strong, your compliance unwavering, and your journey filled with success. If you have any questions or need further assistance with your startup's legal matters, don't hesitate to seek expert legal counsel. They can provide tailored advice to meet your specific needs. Best wishes on your startup journey.